actually live on your side as well?
I mean, I'm sure this is streaming into my page. Hey guys, what's
Page. Oh,
up?
all
Let's go
right.
check. Let's check it out.
I'm just gonna verify to confirm. I just want to be
Is
sure this is
streaming.
text set up. Right.
Is this? Does anybody know? Is this streaming? Hello, hello.
Testing, testing. Yeah.
Uh,
So the so on it actually looks like it is on LinkedIn here on the look, just updating it for YouTube. Looks like it went and caught on YouTube as well from what I'm seeing. Okay, cool. Yep, we're live on YouTube.
Very
Um,
cool. Hey YouTube, how you doing? How's it going, YouTube?
and then also in the group. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we are. Yeah, we're all set at my side. I'm not sure about you, but I know there's a lot of different, a lot of different places we're streaming on, and we're going to be trying this. And this is V1, and
Yeah.
so you got to start somewhere.
It looks like I'm on you. We're on YouTube. I see. I see us on YouTube. For whatever reason, I don't see us yet in my on my Facebook channel, but maybe it's because I'm in one of my other ones. Oh, I am. I see. I'm in I'm in one of my other ones. That's why.
Okay.
So I have the two different channels. I streamed it in the wrong one. No big deal. It happens. Next time I'll stream into the right one.
Okay. Awesome.
Well, cool. Yeah, this is fun. What do we what let's I mean, you guys here's the deal. You got two webinar founders, and we're talking about webinars, and Henry and I have been friends for a while, and we kind of soundboards for each other when we talk about what the industry is doing around webinars, what we're seeing that can change, what we see still works, that's still working. So my assumption is that this is our first of many live streams that will come together. The webinar founder circle will come together, and we'll talk about what we see, and what you guys may need to know about the future of webinars and things like that. So what do you think, Henry? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I mean, makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, the last, and I really like this, ongoing cadence that we've had, especially like this week. We've done, drinking our own Kool-Aid, right? We're doing our own webinars, and we're, just looking at the data, and we're improving what we're doing each time. And, I think there's kind of been a, with the direction of like where the economy is going, and, people are not buying, they're not just going to buy a software off the shelves anymore. People want real help. They want human interaction. We're seeing that with AI. Like we're seeing how valuable and in short the time frame is going to be, where we're going to have a lot less and less of that. And so I think adding more of like a personal touch and a human touch to what we're providing, just instead of being behind our screens and hoping people just buy stuff and make money, and good luck to the rest of them. I think having us kind of coming together and saying, hey, this makes sense for us to figure out, what are the actual challenges from, you're going through a lot of volume of what people are doing with webinars, and you're seeing that, seeing the direction of what live stream and how that could help your webinars and online events and in the summit game. And, you're seeing, that's all we do, is we serve these people all the time. So I think we're taking like the best of both worlds and really able to come together, because you don't see that a lot. You don't see a lot of competing quote unquote competing software companies coming together to provide as much value to the audience.
Yeah, let's be honest here. I I got a little complacent over the years, a little complacent with getting in front of the camera as I used to do. A little complacent around letting automation kind of do my thing.
Right.
And it's kind of been refreshing to jump back into doing more video, more webinars, and put yourself out there more, because it kind of energizes and refreshes. And I guess I'm not sure if it was like, geez, right, as a webinar founder, we need to be drinking our own Kool-Aid, right, and just doing webinars all the time. But like, I think what happens is like, we get there tends to be a moment where, like for me, I stepped out of it. I allowed my automated webinars to do more of the more stuff. I allowed, I mean, this was also during a season that I needed to not really do a lot of webinars, while I raised a family and I grew a family, and I wasn't able to do live webinars all the time, and I took a step back. But it's nice when, you get through a season and you realize like what energized you. I can frankly tell you this, that while I was not doing webinars, I felt more depressed. I felt a little more like I didn't have a touch point with my audience. I felt a little more out of touch and a little more on my own as this like floating buoy thing in the middle of the ocean.
Sure.
And one thing that's cool about you and I coming together, Henry, is that we can serve on a level to people, and we're accountable. We're keeping ourselves accountable for serving on the level that we're supposed to serve to them, because we are founders of a tool that like you're watching right now, allowing you to go live and talk to your audience, connect on a deeper level, present high impact presentations and workshops that really level the playing field for coaches, founders, SaaS founders, businesses, anybody who's trying to, grow, get more customers through the door through acquisition, and then of course keep customers happy through education and communication, right? So I feel like I'm glad that I'm doing this more, because I feel like I didn't do enough. I feel like I it's like, and it's actually been making me feel better the more we've been doing these lives, and kind of getting back in. I feel like I want to do this live all the time, and then turn this live basically into like a podcast or something I can have.
As we were doing this, I'm like 5 minutes in, I'm like, this actually makes a lot of sense. Like the more we're talking about it, but the whole podcast, it's because it is kind of what it feels like, is when you're talking about, I mean, because you and I are able, like, we're doing so much more output, and I think it was, you and I were really in the same phase of, okay, well, the only thing that we were focused on was just building the business, like demand generation, and then it was like, okay, if I can't keep doing that if I don't have the infrastructure to support that. Like that was, and you and I were like, we both maxed out in our, from your capacity and also my capacity of like, okay, well, definitely can't keep that up. And that was kind of into the whole systems function of like, as a founder, it's like, you kind of have to take off your demand gen hat, and then you've got to just focus on, how do you optimize this? So next time you do put on your demand gen hat, like you don't have to go back to the drawing board and rebuild. Like you're in a much different, spot that, I think that we were with all the craziness in the last couple of years that we had to make that adjustment,
Yeah. Well, I mean, exactly. Like, also when you are the founder of something and you are running a team, you are in management a lot, you're kind of overseeing. So it is that having to figure out where your scope of genius is, and saying, oh, I should be, should I be brainstorming on these initiatives, or should I let my team handle it and I should be doing more of something like this? And so it's, I think that it was discovery, just trying to really figure it out. Again, I took, I think, steps back on getting in front of the camera and doing more with webinars and doing more with reaching out and speaking to the audience. But I think that's, this is a new season for me personally, where I am going to be out there more. I'm making the intention. I'm putting it out there, making the intention. I'm going to be out there more. Lucy, you're going to be out there more. You're going to do more. You're going to talk to your audience. You're going to be front facing.
Right.
So this is my, my line in the sand going to happen. From the aspect of running webinars, and the aspect of of doing more live events where your audience registers, they come to see you, and you teach them something of value that will solve their problem. You give them something of value that will, allow them to move to the next level because they're your audience, they're your customer. If I think about it and look at it, there's not much that's changed, in that sense, around, do webinars work or not? It's like webinars, that's the act of being able to still position your opportunity or position what you solve for people is never going to change. You're always going to need a vehicle for it. The vehicle might change, right? But the need is still going to be there. Now, as it relates to like our webinar platforms, they're awesome because they are ecocentric, right? Not egocentric, but ecocentric, ECO centric, where that is your ability now to leverage your own ecosystem. We've set them up to be ecosystems for you so that you can drive people into your own live stream experiences and know the data. And I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of, people, try to still understand and figure out is like, well, do I need a webinar platform when I could just use a platform and stream to Facebook Live and YouTube Live and just teach there and do things there?
Right.
And again, that goes back and Henry, the answer to this. I'll let you handle that. Why shouldn't we use Facebook Live or YouTube Live as the end all be all for, not only communicating with our audience, but selling our products and services, and things like that.
I look at this as like a TV channel, right? And I mean, I talk about this all the time of like when you're going to go and if you're going to go and sell something, right? And you're going to use we talk about these online, and I've been talking about these like online shopping networks and stuff like that. And the cool part is like, if you look at a company like QVC, they are QVC because they have the distribution, they have that audience. And it's kind of been like the same thing with the music industry. Like the music industry was really dominated by a couple companies because they're the ones that are distributing the video or, whether it's a music video or the audio content out to the audience. And now the artists had no ownership of their channels. Right. And so now we're seeing the transition of people going from, Kevin Hart has his own production company now. He sells his own tickets. He owns that whole thing. And you're seeing a lot more people go down that road of, well, I need to own that distribution. And if you let the higher powers, right, just run that for you, they control your destiny. Right. And so that really goes into this whole, why are, live streams versus webinars? It's all important to do, and it all feeds the beast. But if you don't have control of your own data, like if you have no way of directly communicating with them, you're doomed. Right. And that's the whole point. And, we're creating better ways to always be in front of them, right? And we're always having better ways to directly communicate with them, and we're trying to reduce the transition from, you know, knowing you and trusting you as soon as possible, right? And that's kind of why we talk about these, where the direction of live streaming and all that's going. But that's
Right.
kind of that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's like you need your own channel, and you need to own the data. Like that's what we talked about, right? It's all
Right.
about owning the data. And unfortunately, as we also said, like these social media platforms don't give you that data. They're not your data. That's their
Right.
data. So so that's why, you know, that's this, you know, the state of webinars is not really changing. It's like it's still allowing you to house your data, keep your data.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm excited to do more of these. I think you know, this is going to be fun to kind of like put more out there.
Right.
You know, again, this is flagship, guys. We haven't really, you know, this is
V1 day, one day of
we haven't
planning.
really planned out what we're gonna,
Yeah.
you know, talk about. Could be Chat GPT, could be you know, could be any of the above. Maybe even, you know, new technology, new, you know, what's the writing on the wall in the future for how people consume video content, and kind of what we see, you know. Here's something interesting. You know, I had this idea, you know, I was listening to this podcast, Smartless. I don't know if anybody listens to Smartless. I'm
What's
sure
that about?
some people do. With Jason Bateman, it's got Will Arnett, and it's got what's his name? Just Jack. What's his name? I forget. But it's got these three awesome guys, and they had Spielberg on, and they were talking to Spielberg about like what Spielberg thinks about, you know, the industry of you know, with all the streaming platforms that are out there, right? He said what was interesting to me. He said, you know, the streaming platforms created five times the opportunity for filmmakers to get out there and create something, you know, and have it picked up. Right? There's like five times more opportunity, whereas before it was much harder to get through the door.
Right.
And the other thing what he mentioned was, you know, the movie experience is kind of like, you know, we've lost the movie experience, sort of like cadence, or the movie experience, like explosion of excitement and energy and IP, you know, really presenting the movie, and really it's basically marketing the movie in this massive way. Get them into the theater. You know, now they're just going straight to streaming, and they're not getting the accolades, the you know, the interest and the excitement that they deserve now.
Right.
And you know, I think that movies in general are changing in sense of how people are consuming them, to where, you know, maybe in the future, there might be the opportunity to launch movies as a second step before they even go to a streamer via a you know, a similar sort of experience as to you know, as a webinar, you know. It goes to a theater, and if it doesn't, for whatever reason, if it can't get distribution in a theater, it goes to another, maybe online third party, where it launches. It can launch out in the same way before it even goes to a streamer, you know.
So like you're saying like each so you're saying there'll be more individual distribution to like promote movies if they don't hit the big screen. So it's going to have like a downstream of independent people kind of. I can see that. I could definitely see that. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, I thought, you know, I was thinking, okay, guys, this is, I mean, I just literally put a business model out to. Now everybody's going to want to steal my idea. But you know, I no, I thought it was a brilliant idea, and they could use platforms like ours, you know, platform like mine, to be able
Yeah.
to make an event of it, you know, make
Right.
a spectacle of it. You
Right.
know, market it out, say it's online at this time, and it's, you know, that, and you know, like, try to duplicate the movie experience at home. Yes, it's hard because everybody also, they'll just wait for it to be a stream. But there has to be, the movie industry has lost its sense of urgency for projects. You know, there's so many projects out there that so many fall through the wayside. So you know,
It becomes more of an experience company
yeah,
because
yeah,
you're selling experience. Like, think about like the movie theaters now is, it's like, it's, if you're going to go to a movie theater, you're going to go like lay basically in a bed and they're going to serve food to you. But then I'm
yeah.
also seeing in China, they're doing like Netflix live streaming parties, right? So you can have like, hey, you know, you're in LA, I'm in Chicago, let's meet to do a time and like we'll video chat using through the Netflix app and watch the show together.
Oh, does Netflix have that?
In China, yeah,
Man, I thought about that a while back. I was like, why don't I, you know, I think I even bought the URL, like watchparty.com or something
we
like that.
have like we own the technology where you can do that. Like we've talked to a couple like big names that are trying to do that in the U.S. and it's a big it's a
Hmm.
big thing, right? I mean, it's a big deal, but it's, I mean, there, and there will be companies that I think like, I mean, that's another business model, right? You just like you create that type of environment, and then you can sell
Absolutely.
movies through that, you know. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, no, there's, I think there's going to be an interesting trend that we see, you know, whether we start it or somebody else starts it, that you know, where there's going to be, you know, things like this. But there's definitely gaps and problems that need to be solved
Yeah,
out there with how people consume content, and because of the fact that content, there's so much of it, that, and it's so overwhelming, and so much is coming all the time, that there need to be these pinnacle events, these moments that kind of rise, help you to see the cream of the crop,
right,
or you know what I mean. So um you know, when we're talking about a webinar, you know, the still, you're still in that moment experience, you know, like, it's like, that's what, you know, if you're running a stream, or if you're you know, doing something where you are, you know, you're going to launch for a short period of time, and then you're going to be gone, right?
right.
And I think there's something to be said, you know, when everybody got into this more, especially with this online marketing world, you know, everything was all about evergreen.
Yeah,
How can I go evergreen, evergreen, evergreen? How can I duplicate my success, and you know, not be there, right?
right,
And evergreen is awesome, but of course you do lose those pinnacle like opportunities of events opening and closing, right?
right.
And I think it's like you know, I think it's two things. One is like, you need to have the ability to uh, mimic that or reproduce that in an environment that's evergreen,
Mhm.
but at the same time, to not lose sight of still having that experience in your marketing, you know, the kind of the launch conversation, right? Planning out a good launch, knowing who to talk to get them ready to and
Right.
excited about what's coming out, you know. So I think that that's still a very necessary piece to energize, you know, so no, I don't think that's going to go away, and I think it's actually going to have a resurgence. You know, after this whole, you know, everybody got on more of evergreen, and I also think that with Zoom fatigue still sort of out there, you know, I think that that with Zoom fatigue that happened, everybody started to merge back into going to places and doing things. Right? Zoom kind of, I feel like Zoom kind of cooled off, you know, over the last, like, you know, 6 months, let's say, you know,
I
or
was
so.
I was searching their traffic searches, like how much Zoom is getting searched online per month,
Mhm. Mhm.
I think they're still crushing it, but like what they're not worth 150 billion dollars, but yeah, I mean they're
Yeah, they're still. Yeah.
they're it's I mean because it's like the norm, right? It's like that's what it is.
Well, they've normalized. I mean, they're a verb now. So no, I know they'll get traction, but I'm saying I think that like after Zoom fatigue, people got back out there,
Yeah,
in the world. And I think with the looming recession and or some would claim that we're in it right now, or the the still existing work from home sort of experience. Like
right.
I think that live streaming is still is gonna, I think we're still gonna see it come back even more.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
yeah, that's what I think. I think it's gonna come way harder. And and I think that it's going to come in different versions, whether it's like this or it's VR. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there's going to be an interesting evolution of how video transforms and how events transform, which is kind of exciting.
It's kind of like a breakdown of like, well, it's two-part, right? There's like the one-to-one video, and there's going to be a lot of emerging technology there, and then there's the one-to-many video experience, right? And then when you're talking about like the evergreening your events, which is a whole separate topic, but I don't know, did you see what Brunson is doing with his like his updated funnel hacking live format? He runs it every quarter.
No.
I don't know if you want to go down that rabbit hole, so I don't know. So,
well, are we talking about funnel hacking live, or are we talking about his challenge funnel right now?
So he's automated his funnel hacking live, I believe, where he runs a. So I was watching a video on it a while ago where he was talking about the success of his in-person events. And then he was like, well, what if he can do that on demand? And then, with COVID, and then he had to go figure out how to really run that process. And he was breaking down the numbers, and he was realizing that when he ran this funnel hacking live event virtually, that it was actually probably more profitable, right? He was able to reach more people. And so basically he took recordings of all of his past in-person events, and then he would say, we're doing, speaker, A, B, and C. We're going to cover, X, Y, and Z content. He would just like plug it in, and then he would introduce some hybrid components where you would have like a live person go in and actually talk. But he would take the pre-recorded sessions and then run that, but run the whole, he's running these every 3 months, right? So he's got 3 months of promotion going behind it. But then it's not like there's all this. It's not like you have to go to whatever Miami and rent out a whole building and do that.
Yeah.
It's just way more profitable for him.
Well, I mean, that's what that's platforms out there to do virtual conferences now. So 100%, it's out there, it's available now.
Right.
And I think it's like, this is kind of the bridge of virtual reality versus live experiences versus just all the stuff, all these pieces. So yeah, it's going to be, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting time to see how these things play out. And again, I think, you and I it's funny because like we could probably chat for hours on this.
I was gonna bring up the person there's like a person who's in the metaverse, and they're like a stripper in the metaverse and make like 10 grand a month.
Whoa.
It's like,
crazy.
Where is this going?
You don't actually have to take your clothes off. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Yeah. That's wow. No, I mean, there's whole world. I know my friend has a friend who has a whole VR. This guy like launched a VR musical, like a musical experience through VR in the metaverse.
That's cool.
I was like, wow, how did this guy do that? Anyway, I think there's going to be so many of these like things that that are going to be happening, you know, and they're gonna trend up, trend down, but I think there's going to be a, you know, there's going to be a point when it's the normal,
Yeah.
you know, just like any adopted technology, you know,
Right.
um, and uh, and so it'll be fun to kind of still explore, you know, what we're doing with live video, live video technology, webinars, you know, live streaming, just all of the above as we continue down.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. Uh, well, what do you think, Henry? We got 30 minutes. I mean, that was pretty
I think it
good.
was good. I think it was good. No, I mean, it turned into a podcast pretty quickly. I noticed, so I like it because it actually helps humanize really what we're doing on a day to day. Just because we've been,
Yeah.
we've been actually focusing on being really effective on being more out there. The last,
Yeah.
that was just a big focus of ours, both of ours. We've been on the same business path for a while, but I think it's cool that you know just getting it on a good cadence, and we'll just keep doing this. And
Hmm.
we'll do this every Friday at the same time if this time keeps working for you. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, this was awesome. No, it really helps kind of like reflect on all the stuff minutia that we've been throughout the week. So
Yeah, yeah. And you know, for those who don't know, Henry and I have also come together, and we've formed sort of a joint venture on a business called Q'd, and it's basically to kind of like remove it's all about removing the friction that you may have in your webinar processing,
right,
launching with a webinar, creating a webinar, you know, getting your business out there more. For those who are coming in through my pages, there's a link there that you can join a weekly workshop that we do. Feel free to come to our weekly workshop. We'd love to have you, talk to you about what you're up to with your business, and tell you more about, you know, kind of what we want to do to impact the world a bit better,
yeah,
and help people, businesses who are needing webinars to work on the highest level possible, but have thus far not been able to achieve it. We are wanting to help. So, depending on where you're coming in from, you can go to either Henry's link that might be in his description, or mine that would be in my description. So
I gotta figure out where to add these
I'll show you. You put it
descriptions,
in the
but
edit.
for the next round.
For the next round. It's coming for the next round, people. Yeah.
So awesome. Well, no, this was really good. I appreciate you jumping on here, and we're working
Yeah.
through it. We'll schedule the next one for in advance, so people are notified about it. We'll try to put in the event directories and stuff. But this was cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks everybody for taking time if you watched any of this.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye.